He's not here.
Oh, Wendy.
Come over.
Okay. I should stay.
Mel? Mel? The ambassador, can you come? It's low.
No, she told me, but I didn't know. Yeah, you'll see on my thing on our behalf today. Because it didn't know me. No, I'm not supposed to see. So I came and I said, but I'm not prepared. But you are. No, I don't do it off the top. Then me. No. So you're more offended. Nice to meet you. But at least you're prepared. No, I just ChatGPT. And let's see what they come up with. Yes. So welcome.
Oh, I remember the card. You wasn't even born. But beautiful country. Too quiet. You do some.
But if they're supposed to be with us, you're good. At least you have it.
You ready?
It's okay. Because we're both from East Africa, so we'll just.
Hey, boss, that was beautiful yesterday.
Excellent. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah. How are you? Good. How are you doing?
You ready?
So it will make it better. You want to stand in?
You want to hold? All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out today. First, I want to thank my colleagues from the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Congressman Jonathan Jackson, for joining us all today as we are here with the African Diplomatic Corps, so I thank them also for being here. We're here today for a shared purpose to celebrate Africa Day and its bold, enduring vision. On May 25th, 1963, the framework for the Organization of African Unity first established, and while the name may have later changed, the purpose has not changed. A unified Africa that can stand the test of time, along with support from congressional members and the United States. But Africa is no longer just the future, it's actually our now. The continent is home to several of the world's fastest growing economies. It alone holds 30% of the world's minerals and 12% of global oil reserves. The creation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement has also opened up the market of 1.4 billion people with trillions of dollars in purchasing power. All of this makes Africa an economic game changer. But I have serious concerns about the administration's diminished investments and our shrinking of our diplomatic footprint while China and Russia are expanding their diplomatic footprint in Africa. We must act now. We cannot be reactive and allow this to move forward. It's a time and a moment that the United States must meet immediately. We need a bold, clear, and forward-looking agenda for Africa, one that builds on the past successes, respects African leadership, and puts America back in position of leadership along with African states. As we also cannot overlook the diaspora and must ensure the continual engagement. These partners have the unique insight that allow us to deepen our relationship. As a leader in the Foreign Affairs Committee, I will continue to share with the U.S. policy in keeping pace with the dynamic realities of the continent. More importantly, today we not only recognize Africa, but we recommit ourselves to building strong partnerships so we can continue having more trade agreements and having less aid agreements. Now, we're disappointed with the cuts that we saw when it came to USAID aid, but we're going to be intentional about making sure we're filling those potholes and we're filling our relationships to make sure that we move forward and not backward when it comes to our diplomatic footprint. Now, I would like to introduce to the stage my colleague, Jonathan Jackson.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'd like to be affiliated with all the remarks of my colleague, the Honorable Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick, and I would say this is a day of celebration on Africa Day. I'm glad to be here in Washington, D.C., on the grounds of the United States Capitol. African bodies help build this capital, build this nation, and we also acknowledge the tremendous work that the great continent has done and continues to do so. We know this administration has retreated from its commitment to humanity and decency and trade and is trying to succeed its natural order in being the world's leader. People need to ask the president, what does America First mean? America First should not mean removing our aid from USAID out of Africa. America First should not mean reducing our commitment to PEPFAR. It should not mean reducing our commitment to HIV extermination, if you will, eradication. It should not mean reducing our commitment to HIV. There are much work that needs to be done, continues, but this is a day that we celebrate. Africa is the future in so many ways. In 2050, just 25 years from now, 1/4 of the human population will be of African ancestry. When we think about this whimsical nation of this whimsical administration on these tariffs that make no sense, African nations are being punished. When we think about the punitive nature of what the administration is doing to South Africa, we stand with South Africa. We stand with our embassies. South Africa is a sovereign nation that is clear, that has been through a horrific nightmare, if you will, of having had to live under an apartheid regime that's trying to seek equity for all of its citizens to live in harmony. South Africa has also been at the forefront of being the only democracy to have kept its colonial powers in its nation. So they have been a very loving and receiving nation. We stand by them. We want this administration to have respect for this sovereign nation. This nation of ours, the United States, fought against Nelson Mandela. They called him a terrorist when he fought for one person, one vote. South Africa was on the right side then and now, and they speak with moral clarity. We appreciate their commitment to peace and harmony within the world, and we are promised to do our best to live up to our obligations. And I'd like to thank all the persons that are here today, from the Diplomatic Corps, from all of our great organizations. We're going to continue to fight for AGOA and fight for enhanced trade agreements, fair trade agreements with Africa. The first trade agreement we had with Africa, the United States, was kidnapping African bodies. We are a better nation than that. We can go forward. But we can only be honest when we go forward by recounting our history and seeking peace and reconciliation. Can't have reconciliation until we have the truth and have our memories clear. So with that, I want to say thank you, Honorable Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick, and I will turn it over to, let me see, His Excellency Hilda Suka Mafuzda.
She will speak on her behalf.
She will speak on her behalf. Thank you so much. Please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm not prepared. I'm not supposed to speak, but really I'm very happy to be here today as we gather to celebrate Africa Day, a day of unity, resilience and progress. Africa is a continent rich in diversity, culture and potential. It's a home also to vibrant communities and countless stories of innovation and perseverance. We all acknowledge the role that Africa plays as a crucial in shaping the future of our world. And I think by acknowledging Africa's importance on the future of the world, we can leverage the potential of the continent, and we can all work together towards a more equitable, sustainable and prosperous world for the future generations. And I would like also to seize this opportunity to thank Congresswoman McCormick and Congressman Jackson for gathering us and for championing the continent. Thank you so much, and happy Africa Day.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Excellency Youssef Amarini, Ambassador of Morocco. Okay, so, Tanzania. So we'll have Her Excellency Elisa Kenga from Ambassador of Tanzania.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here with you all, Congresswoman McCormick, Congressman Jackson. It's always a pleasure to have you on our side, backing the African agenda and strengthening the collaboration and partnership between the U.S. And Africa. For very long, we've all been talking about moving from aid to trade, and we're happy to see the new commitment to moving forward in that direction as we also work together to address gaps that are emerging from the previous nature of our partnership, which also amplify the importance of development assistance. And in that regard, I'd like to express our appreciation that in some respects, particularly in the health aspects, PEPFAR in particular, is moving forward, and we appreciate the continued support from the U.S. administration for this very important agenda, not just for the continent. Health security is a global issue. It's not just an African issue. But in particular, on this Africa Day, we are excited about the prospects for us to move together in win-win spirit to strengthen our strengths, working on this new sort of trade front. Jobs is important. It's important for you. It's important for us. The private sector creates jobs, not the government. And so being able to chart new frontiers and pathways to help us close our jobs gap on the continent, your tariff and deficit concerns on the U.S. side, but the largest economy in the world and really the future of the world, if I may say so, being able to collaborate can only be a win for the world as a whole. Thank you all very much, and happy Africa Day.
Thank you.
And Robbie from Uganda.
So we have the ambassador from Uganda.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Congresswomen, and thank you, Congressmen, for this special time in standing with us. And would also like to say that on this day, we really are grateful in that we continue to have conversations about Africa. But we need to go beyond those conversations, and we need to be really, really focused on what does Africa mean, and how can we put programs together that out of, like my colleague said, that express the motives of goodwill, but also for the future. So we want to, for example, in Uganda, when we look at our partnerships with America, we look at public health, we look at health security, but we also look at, in troubled times like this, how we host nearly 2 million refugees. So what does that mean in that standing with Africa? What does that mean in terms of the social and cultural aspects of that? So we do want to, again, appreciate that the congressmen and the congresswomen have stood with Africa. And quite frankly, there are some perhaps difficult conversations that we may need to have, and we also must be able to agree to disagree. But I think beyond those, of course, through diplomatic engagements, we trust that we shall have a continued positive relationship. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And so now we are going to conclude, but we'll take any questions if they have any. Mm-hmm.
Julian, I'm the U.S. correspondent for the Africa Report. Mm-hmm. This is obviously a democratic event. Mm-hmm. You know, we always said that politics stops at the water's edge, and obviously that's less and less true. But Africa has, typically been a very bipartisan sort of issue. Mm-hmm. And obviously at this point, with this juncture, and the South African president is meeting tomorrow, that seems to have, changed. I'm wondering if you could address that a little bit, those concerns, what's happened here, is this something we can resolve? What happened to the bipartisan support for the continent, and what does that mean if there is no bipartisan alignment anymore?
Well, I think we still have some kind of sort of a pathway for bipartisan alignment. And right now, the conversations that we're even having with South Africa, we're trying to make sure we have those pathways and that they're present. But our vision for Africa, how we can be friends with Africa, I think the good intentions are still there, but we have multiple different methods that we're trying to actually come to a place where we actually agree on it. And I think seeing Africa and understanding the respect that's due to Africa, so we can actually be active active participants and players and not on the sidelines fighting to get in and build those relationships is the goal of every member of Congress. So we're looking forward to have more conversations so we can start building that one path that we're both on.
Congressman, do you think that the way that the conversation that the Trump administration is having with South Africa right now, do you think that's detrimental to our overall relationship?
Yes, I do. I think the conversation that President Trump is having is disrespectful towards a sovereign nation. We can agree to agree and agree to disagree. Mr. Ramaphosa has led that nation with all of its challenges, and we congratulate him. We were on the wrong side of history in fighting against Nelson Mandela. We were on the wrong side of history in propping up apartheid. And for this young nation, this young democracy, if you will, that's withstood the worst of times in our lifetime, that now asserts itself and has a difference of opinion, I think we have to owe them their respect. And while we isolate ourselves with tariffs around the world, the Chinese and Russians and other people are affirming Africa's future. I'd like to see us get back on track and also stop the unnecessary loss of life. People are starving in the Sudan. There's conflict. People with HIV, people with malaria aren't getting the medicine and the things that they deserve that the United States taxpayers have already allocated. That's unlawful to dismantle USAID. So I look forward to them having a healthy conversation, and I hope that Mr. Trump also shows them the level of respect that they deserve.
Do you think other African countries are looking at this and also feeling disrespectful? Beyond South Africa?
I can't speak to that, but I know it was very hurtful to abruptly pull back on our commitment to USAID on food and medicine, and the American people cherish that as a value. The only thing that's changed is the occupant of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and our president on this, on dismantling USAID is wrong. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Lil.
Thank you so much. Thank you.